Hello, everyone. Perry back here with another exclusive TIFF 2019 interview. I'm very excited about this one. I already told you guys. I love Sea Fever. This movie was just like so right up my alley, and for my taste in creature features, I was very, very into it. To kick this off with you, a lengthy TV career, and this is your first feature. Why make your feature debut with this particular story?
Well, it's a story that means a lot to me. What we're trying to do is make something that is a propulsive and exciting adventure story, but also has meaning and has heart and soul and tells a story that we feel needs to be told right now.
Just because I have a feeling a lot of people out there don't know what Sea Fever is, does anyone want to give like the quick elevator pitch? like a one sentence. I feel like the one sentence description, I don't know why I'm asking, is that they go out on a boat and a mysterious creature attaches itself to it, and I'm going to leave it at that.
I think that's
okay.
Pretty much what happens. It's the story of a marine biologist who joins a very tight-knit crew on a ragged old trawler, and they encounter this unfathomable creature in the deep.
With this one of the things that impresses me most is that there's no real villain in the piece, whether we're talking about, any of the people on the boat or even the creature for that matter. It's just beings trying to survive. So with that in mind, can you guys each tell me one quality about your character that you would want to keep with you for yourself?
One thing about my character, I see him as a survivor. With the backstory we have on this character is that he'd been through some stuff and he experienced some stuff that a human being shouldn't, see in a lifetime. So, and he's there and he has to be there to protect his family. And he's a survivor, He, where he comes from, people that even died, they're the real survivors, even though they died. So he made it. And he's just trying to be there and protect people.
I think I probably would, my character has a sense of recklessness in some degree, but ultimately I think he's a lot braver than I am in the sense of what he does to sacrifice for his family, both him and his wife, and especially the sacrifice he makes at the end of the film. And I think he's really brave, a lot braver than I am. So I'd like maybe a bit of his bravery.
I'd say the ability to go against the grain, to not go with what's popular, to go what she thinks is right, but might not necessarily be right for everyone, and to have such conviction in what she believes in and what she thinks is true.
My character, I think what I would take away from her is she's sort of a unifier. She sort of tries to get everybody to be a team, to tries to get her husband to do the right thing. She respects everybody on her team, and even Hermione's character, she tries to make sure that she is welcomed in. So it's like this unifier. I think that's a really good quality to have.
I think that's an appropriate choice there. What was it like shooting this film? Are we basically talking stages and tanks here?
To a degree, I think we shot the first week. We shot on a trawler, on the trawler that you see in the film, which is a working trawler, a family trawler. Yeah, I think working that first week on the trawler was really valuable. It was. Thank you very much. It gave everybody a real sense of what that world is like, who those people are, and Connie and Dougray learned how to pilot the trawler. Went out with the guys, really got a handle on what it means to be in charge of everybody's lives like that when you go out to sea. And Connie also became an expert fish gutter, which I was very impressed by. So I think that initial set of filming days where we were out on the trawler then informed everything else that happened in the story. Originally we were thinking about filming the entire film on the trawler, but actually, of course, below deck is so tight and space is at such a premium that we couldn't actually get the gear down and have the actors and have the crew there. So we recreated it on stages, and we set it up such that the actors were totally free to move around the full space of the boat. And we were able to make sure that the camera always feels like it's inside the boat. It's never outside the boat. It's always there, right there in that confined space. But at least we could take out walls and have the lens there without, 50 big hairy guys on set alongside the actors as you have in a crew.
Even when we were inside of the stage, it still felt tight. Everything was still very tight inside of our stage, right?
Was there anything especially challenging with that kind of setup that you've never experienced before, or any maybe specific scene, whether it's something where you're actually out on the boat or in tight quarters on a stage?
Being on the boat when the first week of filming, we were actually on the trawler. That was pretty tough because you're on the sea and it's not very stable on a ship, and you got to have sea legs, and not everyone had sea legs. So it was.
Now I want to know who did.
Yeah, that would be telling, wouldn't it? But there was a lot of heave ho going on, but it was well, there was yeah. But it was great in order to be on the trawler, because you got a real sense of that world, and also the owners of the trawler, Brendan and his wife, they were around all the time, looking kind of disparagingly at me at the beginning. I'm like, I promise you, I'm learning to get better. They were great, and it was a great experience that first week. And the studio was a great recreation of the ship itself, of the trawler itself.
Yeah,
I felt.
I have to say the designer did a really super job.
Incredible.
It was that confined space, wasn't it, with full roof and that sense of the long, narrow space of the boat where there's nowhere to hide. You're really living cheek by jowl with these other people.
So I got the 5 minutes already, and I don't want to move on from Sea Fever, but we have a little game that we want to play with you guys before. And before I do this, I'm going to say, keep an eye out for Sea Fever. I freaking love this movie. It thrilled me to no end, and it's so nice to get a thoughtful thrill that leaves you with something important to think about after, so thank you for that. All right. We're going to play a little Collider most memorable moments. So rapid fire around the table. I'm going to list out 7 topics, and I want you to tell me the first thing that comes to your mind as this most memorable moment. So starting off, your most memorable film premiere, whether it's a movie you're in or one you attended.
Well, this one, without a doubt.
Any other options for this one?
I have quite an embarrassing one. I mean, I did a movie years ago called Ever After, and I turned up at the premiere in Italy with a purple velvet suit on. I thought it looked cool. Looking at pictures back now, I think I might have made a different choice in retrospect.
I think for me it was Gladiator. We basically were on the steps of the Colosseum when we did our world premiere there, and it was kind of amazing. Yeah.
For me, must have been my first feature. We were in San Sebastian, and it was my first lead role, and I hadn't seen the film, and I was nervous. It was full theater, and I didn't know it was a spotlight coming on later, and they were gonna film us. So I was sitting there like this, shocked, and then the lights came on, and I was like pretending to be happy, and I was just dying, Yeah, and I was so shocked. Yeah.
Probably. Well, this one definitely, but another one would be Triple X, because we arrived on a boat and I didn't realize we were being along the Thames, and I didn't realize we were being filmed the whole way. So I was like throwing my shoes off, like scratching my head, lying. I didn't know what was going on. Then I arrived, and apparently on the big screen, everyone had just been watching us the whole time. So that was memorable. Yeah.
And it's all on film, so you really won't ever forget it.
Yeah.
What is your most memorable meal?
Oh my God. That's really hard. You're going to have to come back to me on that one. What's your most memorable meal?
I think French Laundry in California.
Okay.
Yeah.
I actually just had a meal the other day in a restaurant in Vancouver called Bauhaus, which is owned by the director Uwe Boll. What an incredible meal that was. That was the most recent memorable meal I've ever had, I have to say.
I had lamb testicles once. Memorable.
Good?
Pretty good. But strange.
I had a similar thing. I ate at a restaurant called The Carnival, and I don't really eat meat. And they would get snake, kangaroo, like
In Nairobi, the one in Nairobi. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was
been there, yeah.
pretty memorable, yeah.
Circling back around.
Do you know what? The thing that actually comes to mind is I had orange juice and a Danish pastry after the birth of my second child, and it was the most delicious food I ever had.
I love that answer. All right, I'm about to get kicked out. One more. Let's do most memorable scene you've ever shot.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, I know. Okay. Mission to Mars for me. I'm hanging up on wires, and Tim Robbins is playing my husband, and he's dying. And every time I scream, I start moving, except in space you don't move. So I had to scream without moving and burst in tears. And I literally thought, this must be the worst conditions for an actor ever my whole life. And I do not know how they edited it so, because I must have moved every time. It's impossible not to. So that was, I remember that.
I remember I was on a dinghy in a stormy water, a stormy sea, really cold. It was really stormy, and I was there just bumping around, and it was sea fever. Yeah, it was fun.
In a t-shirt.
In a t-shirt, cold.
-5 outside.
Yeah.
I'm going to say the last shot we did on this film, because we were in a diving tank in Sweden, and it was huge, and you couldn't heat this tank. And I had to dive down and swim down as far as I could, bearing in mind I had to swim back up again for that final shot, basically, end of the film. And that was memorable because it was the last scene we shot. So I wrapped after
Very
that.
beautiful shot too.
Yeah, and that
it's a
was
great
pretty
shot.
special, yeah.
It's very beautiful. Listen, I think I'd have to say the time that I actually had a motorbike crash during a film and broke my ribs, busted my knee, busted my shoulder, punctured my lung, but I got up and walked away. There you go.
That was a great shot. Wow.
It wasn't even in the film.
It wasn't even in the film.
Oh no! Hi,
There
do you want to
you go.
throw in one last one for us?
Most memorable scene. Do you know what? In Sea Fever, there's a really beautiful scene between Connie and Dougray, and it's this really powerful emotional moment, which is the last scene that you have together.
But you can't tell, can you?
Can't tell what it is.
No.
But the performances were so lovely that we shot it, one shot, 2 takes, and it's just perfect. And that's a really memorable scene for me.
And seriously, I could talk about this movie for hours if we weren't getting kicked out right now. Thank you so much for your time. A huge congratulations to all of you. Thank you to everybody out there watching this interview right now. And another thank you to our wonderful sponsor, Nordstrom Canada, for making these interviews happen. Please do not forget to like and share this video before you go, and tune in soon because we're going to have more TIFF coverage coming your way very, very soon.